Good morning and welcome to Live from the Heartland. We're back at the Heartland Cafe. Yay! We are so happy to have our show back on the stage. Thank you, Danielle, for all your excellent help and her able assistant, Michael James, who together figured out our problems with a little bit of assistance from AT&T. And we are back here on the sunny stage of the Heartland Cafe, where we are every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, bringing you people who are doing good things and ideas that we hope will catch on and events that we hope you'll join, in addition to just some great sounds every once in a while. Today we're excited to welcome back two different and wonderful friends of ours here at the Heartland. One would be the Irish fiddler, Mr. Paddy Jones, who's here from Tralee, and I think I said the wrong town, but when he gets up here, we'll straighten that out. Before that, we're going to talk with and hear from author, poet, expat, maybe you don't like that title, Mr. John Ross, who is a prolific writer and a resident of Mexico City, whose new book, El Monstruo, Dread and Redemption in Mexico City, will be featured at a reading this Wednesday night at the Heartland Cafe and other events that we could tell you about later. So we're just happy to be on the air and with you, our audience, again. Thank you for tuning in. Tell your friends. You can also hear us online live on the webcast at wluw.org, yada, yada. Okay, my name's Katy Hogan, and it's a sunny day, and no longer are we wondering whether we're coming in or going out of winter. We are definitely coming out of winter. Alleluia. John, good morning to you.
Hi, are you doing buenos dias?
Buenos dias a ti también. You are one very prolific writer, and as I tried to catch up with you on this new one last night, I was inspired, awed, as someone who has spent a little bit of time in Mexico City. I totally understand how you could love that place and hate it and be made crazy by it and be made creative by it. You certainly have made the most of it. You've written, 10 books?
10 books, all of them written in room 102 of the Hotel Isabel on the corner of Isabela Católica, República del Salvador, in the Centro Histórico, the old part of Mexico City where I've lived for the past 25 years. Management's told me that they were going to put a plaque up outside. So, like the Hotel Chelsea in New York, which got that plaque for Dylan Thomas and
Right.
all those good writers there. So, yeah, it's been a very creative experience for 25 years. I came into the country. I had actually spent a lot of my misspent youth there, and came into the country with the 1985 earthquake, a week after the earthquake, which killed up to 30,000 Chilangos, as Mexico City residents are called, and became part of a movement of the people that had been affected by the earthquake, the Damnificado movement, which really was the beginning end of, for the ruling party, the party that had been in power for 60 years at that point, the PRI, and changed everything in terms of political balance in the country, and most of all, the relationship of people that live in Mexico City with their city itself.
Wow. So what did you call what was the name you gave of the people who were displaced by say that again?
The Damnificado movement. I guess that's a...
Damnificado?
Damnificado. It means victims. But these people were hardly victims. They went on the offensive to demand that replacement housing be built right where it came down rather than have them shifted to the outside of the city. And the party in power in the government was very slow in acting, and people took initiative and realized they could do stuff for themselves. And 3 years later, that party was voted out of power, although it stole the election that year. But they
was that PRI or PAN? PRI.
The PRI, yeah.
Yeah.
PRI ran Mexico from cradle to the grave for 71 years. They were displaced in 2000 by the right-wing party, the National Action Party. They've now been in power for 10 years, and they behave just like the PRI used to behave.
Is there still a PAN party?
A PAN. The PAN is in power.
Oh, I thought you said, PAN. I'm sorry. The party of national
Action.
Action. Okay. So pre and pon are sort of like indistinguishable from each other anymore, or
Yeah, they're pretty much indistinguishable. I think that they each have different histories. So the pon is much more affiliated with the Catholic Church, much more affiliated with what we normally look at as being a conservative point of view. The pre, because it was the ruling power for so long, is sometimes referred to as the perfect dictatorship, and their views shift much more towards some element of state intervention in terms of providing social services. The third party is the Party of the Democratic Revolution. They're the left-center party, which has controlled Mexico City for the past 13 years. There's no left party any place in the world that has controlled so large a city for so long a time. So it's really a noble experiment in Mexico City. The PRD candidate in 2006, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, won the elections and was cheated out of the elections in the vote count, normal occurrence in Mexico. But to tell you the truth, Katie, people don't have much faith in the political parties any longer, or the political system, or the electoral system. This is the 100th anniversary of the Mexican Revolution and the 200th anniversary of the War of Liberation from Spain. So it's a year fraught with numbers, numerology, revolutionary numerology, we could say. Every 100 years on the 10th year of the century, Mexico seems to rise up in social upheaval. And we're all waiting with bated breath to see what the outcome will be this year. No,
so
1810,
so you're
1910.
waiting. Is somebody else planning?
Well, I know that there are people that are planning, but whether or not they're going to have the wherewithal to pull off a massive uprising of people on the bottom, los de abajo, is still in doubt. So, but it's an interesting dynamic. Mexicans live as much in the past as they do in the present. Past has a very definite element in their lives. And so we say 1810, 1910, 2010, will the revolution come again? People look at this year as a possible watershed for fresh rebellion and revolutionary upsurge.